नमो भगवते वासुदेवया। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवया। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नास्त्यप्रेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भागवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी। Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very whimsical quest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, Supreme human beings, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. The regular attendance on the classes on Bhagavatam, and the rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And having transcendental service under the glorious Lord, who is praised by transcendental loving songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text 8. Sa itiham adisya suran ajas tu taihi samanvita titrapihi sa prajesai yayau swa disneyam nilayam puradivishaha kailasam atri pravaram priyam prabho sa itiyam adisya suran ajastutai sa itiyam adisya suran ajastutai samanvitaha pitrapi saprachesaye samanvitaha pitrapi saprachesaye yaya swadisyan nilayam puradivisha yaya swadisyan nilayam puradisha Kailasamadri pravaram priyam prabho Kailasamadri pravaram priyam prabho Saitiham adisya suranajastutai Samanvita pitrapi saprachesai Jaya swadisyan nilayam puradvisha Kailasamadri pravaram priyam prabho He, Brahma, Itiham, thus, Adisya, after instructing Suran, the demigods, Ajaha, Lord Brahma, two, then, he, those, Samanvitaha, followed, Pitrabi, by the Peters, Saprajesai, along with the lords of the living entities, Yayav, when Swadhisniyat, from his own place, Nilayam, the abode, Pura Divishahe, of Lord Shiva, Kailasam, Kailasa, Adri Pravaram, the best among mountains, Priyam, dear, Prabhu, of the Lord Shiva. After thus instructing all the demigods, the Pitas, and the lords of the living entities, Lord Brahma took them with him and left for the abode of Lord Shiva, known as the Kailas hill. After thus instructing all the demigods, the Pitas, and the lords of the living entities, Lord Brahma took them with him and left for the abode of Lord Shiva, known as Kailas Hill. Purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The abode of Lord Shiva, which is known as Kailas, is described in the 14 verses which follow. The abode known as Kailas is full of different herbs and vegetables and is sanctified by Vedic hymns and mystic yoga practice. Thus the residents of that abode are demigods by birth and have all mystic powers. Besides them, there are other human beings who are known as Kinnaras and Gandharvas and accompanied by their beautiful wives, who are known as Apsaras or angels. Kailash is full of mountains filled with all kinds of valuable jewels and minerals and surrounded by all varieties of valuable trees and plants. The top of the hill is nicely decorated by various types of deer. There are many waterfalls, and in that mountain there are many beautiful caves in which the very beautiful wives of the mystics are found. On Kailash Hill there is always the rhythmical sound of the peacocks, the sweet vibration and the bees humming. Cuckoos are always singing and other birds whisper among themselves. The tall trees with straight branches that appear to call the sweet birds, and when the herds of elephants pass through the hills, it appears that the Kailash Hill moves with them. When the waterfalls resound, it appears that Kailash Hill does also. The whole of Kailash Hill is decorated with various kinds of trees, of which the following names may be mentioned: Mandara, Parijhata, Sarala, Tamala, Tala, Ovida, Asana, Arjuna, and Amrajati, mango. Kadamba, Duli Kadamba, Naga, Punaga, Champaka, Patala, Ashoka, Bakula, Kunda, Gurapaka. Entire hill is decorated with such trees which produce flowers with fragrant aromas. There are other trees also which decorate the hill, such as the golden lotus flower, the cinnamon tree, Malati, Kupcha, Mandika, and Madhavi. Kailash Hill is also decorated with such trees as Kata, jackfruit, Julara, banyan trees, Plakcha, Nyagodras, and trees producing asphodita. Also there are trees of Bedunuts and Burjapatra, as well as Rajapuga, blackberries, and similar other trees. There are mango trees, Priyala, Madhuka, Inguda. Besides this, there are other trees like the tin bamboo, Tichaka, and varieties of other bamboo trees, all decorating the track of Kailash Hill. There are different kinds of lotus flowers such as Kumuda, Utpala, and Satapatra. The forest appears to be decorated garden, and the small lakes are full of various kinds of birds who whisper very sweetly. There are many kinds of other animals also, like the deer, monkeys, boars, lions, rikshas, salyakas, forest cows, forest asses, tigers, small deer, buffalo, and many other animals who are fully enjoying their lives. The varieties of deer such as the Karnantara, Ekapada, Aswasya, Vrika, and Kasturi, the deer which bears nuts. Beside the tree, there are many banana trees which decorate the small hillside lakes very nicely. There's a small lake named Alakananda in which Sati used to take a bath, and that lake is especially auspicious. All the demigods, after seeing the specific beauty of Kailash Hill, were struck with wonder at the great opulence to be found there. Of course, according to the commentary called Sri Bhagavatam Chandrika, the water in which Sati used to bathe was the Ganges water. In other words, the Ganges flowed through the Kailash Parvata. There is every possibility of accepting such a statement because Ganges water also flows from the hair of Lord Shiva. Since Ganges water runs on the head of Lord Shiva and then flows to the other parts of the universe, it is quite possible that the water in which Sati bathed, which was certainly very nicely scented, was Ganges water. As the demigod saw the wonderful, fully beautiful region known as Alaka in the forest known as Saugandhika, which means full of fragrance. The forest is known as Saugandhika because of its abundance of lotus flowers. Sometimes Alaka is known as Alakapuri, which is also the name of abode of Kuvera. Kuvera's abode, however, cannot be seen from Kailasa. Therefore, the region of Alaka referred to here is different from the Alakapuri of Kuvera. According to Raghava Acharya, Alaka means uncommonly beautiful. In the region of Alaka, the demigod saw the type of lotus flower known as Saugandhika that distributes especially fragrant scents. They also saw the two rivers named Nanda and Alakananda. These two rivers are sanctified by the dāsa of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda. My dear Chitta, Vidura, the celestial damsels come down to those rivers in their airplanes with their husbands, and after sexual enjoyment, they enter the water and enjoy sprinkling their husbands with water. Purport by Divine Vedasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is to be understood that even the damsels of the heavenly planets are polluted by thoughts of sex enjoyment, and therefore they come in airplanes to bathe in the rivers Nanda and Alakananda. It is significant that these rivers Nanda and Alakananda are sanctified by the dāsa or the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, just as the Ganges is sacred because its water emanates from the core of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, so whenever water or anything is in touch with the devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is purified and spiritualized. The rules and regulations of devotional service are based on this principle. Anything in touch with the lotus feet of the Lord is immediately freed from all material contamination. Damsels of heavenly planets polluted by thoughts of sex life come down to bathe in the sanctified rivers and enjoy sprinkling water on their husband. Two words are very significant in this connection. Pratikarshitaha means that they themselves become morose after sex enjoyment. Although they accept sex enjoyment as a bodily demand, afterwards they are not happy. Another significant point is that the Lord Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is described here as Tirtha Pada. Tirtha means sanctified place and Pada means the lotus feet of the Lord. People go to the sanctified place to free themselves from all sinful reaction. In other words, those who are devoted to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna automatically become sanctified. The Lord's lotus feet are called Tirthapada because under their protection there are hundreds and thousands of saintly persons who sanctify the sacred places of pilgrimage. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, a great Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, advised us not to go to travel to different places of pilgrimage. Undoubtedly, it is troublesome to go from one place to another, but one who is intelligent can take shelter of the lotus feet of Govinda and thereby be automatically sanctified as a result of his pilgrimage. Anyone who is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Govinda is called Tirthapada. He does not need to travel on various pilgrimages, for he can enjoy all benefits of such travel simply by engaging in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a pure devotee who has implicit faith in the lotus feet of the Lord can create sacred places in any part of the world where he decides to remain. Tirtha Purvanti Tirthani, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.10. The places are sanctified due to the presence of pure devotees. Any place automatically becomes a place of pilgrimage if either the Lord or pure devotees remain or reside there. In other words, such a pure devotee who is engaged 100% in the service of the Lord can remain anywhere in the universe, and that part of the universe immediately becomes a sacred place where he can peacefully render service to the Lord as the Lord desires. So, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Kiranamtina Shalakaya Chaksara Militare Ratasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sankritamyana Bhutale Swam Rupa Karamam Datati Swaparandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajim Savitam Shavadutam Varjanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchna Gurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Pre Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Navaro Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Chinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here, Lord Brahma is taking all the demigods who have offended Lord Shiva to the island boat to ask for forgiveness from Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva has this name called Ashutosh, means it's very easily pleased and also it's very easily angered. This is quality. So Lord Shiva is not an ordinary personality, it's actually an extension of Lord Krishna in charge of the mode of ignorance. So you can become a Brahma, but you cannot become a Lord Shiva. That's not possible. See, so his position is very exalted. Not an ordinary personality. That is explained in the Brahma Samhita. What is it? What was that? Shiram yata dadi vikara visheshu yoga. Give me a minute. So here you can see in this verse, in the Sanskrit, Chiram yathāthādi vikāra visheshu yogan sanjhāyate na yatata prataka asti heto ya sambhutam apitata samupete karyan govindamadi purusham aham bhajami. So the translation is that just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acid, but yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from its cause, this milk. So I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Sambhu is a transformation for the performance of the work of destruction. So here the comparison is that Lord Shiva is the yogurt and Lord Krishna is milk. From milk you can get yogurt, from yogurt you cannot get milk. So these are the position. So in other words, Lord Shiva is actually an expansion of Krishna. He is actually subordinate to Krishna. Follow this point? So his position has to be understood very clearly. Not that Lord Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is actually an expansion of the Lord. So Lord Shiva position as a expansion, he also is very, very, what we say, favorable to the devotees. In fact, among all devotees, Lord Shiva is the topmost devotee. You know, you can see here, Vaishnavam Yata Sambhu, like that. See this verse. Nimna ghanam yata ganga devanam achyutayuda vaishnavanam yata sambho purananam idam ta. Just as Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta is the supreme among deities, and Lord Sambho, Shiva, the greatest of Vaishnavas. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. So you can see here, Lord Shiva is the greatest of Vaishnavas. So he is not actually, as many Shiva devotees are always fighting with Vaishnavas. So you can see here this position, his exalted position. In fact, he is always meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Lord Shiva's position, always meditating. In fact, the water that is coming from the feet of Lord, the Ganga water is coming, and that is actually falling into material world on the head of Lord Shiva. He carries that water. Have you seen a picture of Lord Shiva? He always has some water on his head. Yes? And that is the sacred Ganges water. You understand? So Lord Shiva is actually very 100% devoted to serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He's not, as some people project, different from God, Krishna, and all that kind of, what we say, misconception. So Lord Shiva's position is so glorious, and another important point here is that in the Bhagavatam we are hearing now that this can see here that all of them have come to take part in bathing in this river. So this river, because it is in touch with the lotus feet of the Lord, so the river is a very, very powerful source of purifying agent. So in order to get ourselves purified, we should somehow or other get in contact with anything with the Lord. See? You understand? Anything in contact with the Lord actively becomes purified. See? That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also, Yat karosi yad asnasi yat chuhosi dadasi yat tapasisi kauntaya tat kurusvamat arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So you see, some kind of contact with the Lord purifies every activity of ours. See? So therefore the Lord is advising, whatever you do it for me. Because that sanctifies our activities. You follow? That's why he also advises us to also think about him. Yeah? He also advises us to think of him, Manmana Bhavamat Bhaktam Adhyajim Namaskuro Mam Evaishyasi Yuktaivam Atmanam Parayana. They say, oh, you engage your mind always thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisance to me, worship me, be completely absorbed me, surely you will come to me. So somehow or other we must always contact the Lord. You understand? In fact, there's one more verse here, Martavya Satatam Vishnu. What is that? Take it out for you, give me a minute. You can see here in this verse, Smartavya Satatam Vishnu Vismartavyo na Chatujit Sarve Vidhi Nishedaha Shiv Etayor Eva Kinkaraha. See, Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibition mentioned in the Shastra should be the servant of these two principles. Said always remember Krishna and never forget him. Why? Because by coming in contact with the Lord, some way we become purified. This is the only way of purification. There's the other way of purification is to always keep in contact with the Ganges water or the devotees. See? It is explained among the two, devotees are more powerful. See? Says here, O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the water of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. See? So there's a big difference when you take shelter of the devotees and you take shelter of the Ganges water. But Ganges water also is coming from the Lord. It's not that it is not so powerful or whatever. But if you take shelter of the devotees, then the effect is very, very immediate. You understand? Why? Because the devotees, when you serve them, like here, it is explained. You can see here in this verse, once only by their permission I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time the very nature of the transcendence became attractive to me. So by taking the food left behind by the devotees, what is it called? Mahaprasadam. Prasadam and Mahaprasadam. So when you take this food left behind by the devotees, he said here, I became at once purified. You see that point here? By so doing, And by so doing, you see that? And by so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus being engaged, I became purified in heart. See how powerful the program is. So see, devotees, why is so powerful? Because the food left behind by the pure devotee are taken by them. That food is so, what we say, sanctified. Because they are always carrying the Lord in the heart. They are so powerful. In fact, the Lord says, I eat through the mouth of my devotees, Brahma. See? Understand? So these are another important thing. The food, the first thing is the food. Yeah? And the other one is, see here, and there's another verse here. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava completely free from material contamination, person very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be free from material contamination. So now we are talking about the dust. First we talk about the water that is washed, the lotus feet of the Lord, the devotees, the food remnant, and now the dust. See how powerful all these ingredients are. They can immediately clear. Again, the same thing is also said here. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of the great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of household life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas, undergoing severe penances in winter, by keeping oneself submerged in water, or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. So you see how the process is. That's why the whole program is to come in contact with the devotee. You follow this point? To come in contact with the. In fact, there are so many places it says that even you come in contact with a moment, what is that? Lavanasi? Huh? 1, 2, I think. 1:18:13. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. What to speak of worldly benediction in the form of material prosperity which are for those who are meant for death. See how the association of devotee says here, moment's association. A value of moment association with devotee of the Lord cannot be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation. So you see how association of devotee is so very important. It is not some cheap thing. It's a very, very, very important thing. In fact, if you can get anything, but to get the association of devotee is a very, very, what we say, almost practically impossible. Right? That's also explained here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. For the conditioned soul, the human body is most difficult to achieve and can be lost at any moment. I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. So that, you see, body, to get a human body is very difficult. To get human body is very difficult. And it can be lost at any moment. Yes? But even then, to get the association devotee, that is considered even more rare. See? Therefore, O completely sinless one, I ask you to kindly tell me what the supreme good is. After all, even half a moment association with pure devotees within this world of birth and death is a priceless treasure for any man. Not to speak about a moment, half a moment. Yeah. So our whole life should be molded in such a way that we always be in a company of the devotees. You follow this point? Now, why the devotees are very important? Why? Huh? Why is it so important? Here it's explained, my Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. See the power of the devotee. Because he's always carrying the Lord in the heart. But everybody is carrying the Lord in the heart. Is it not? Everybody is having Paramatma in the heart. So what is so special about the devotee? Because he realizes and is always having, meditating on the Lord all the time. You follow? For one who is always remembering the Lord, who has got love for him, she is the same Lord also every day. So because his constant contact with the Lord is Sakshat Haritvena, non-different from the Lord. As we chant in the morning, the Mangalarti, yes? You follow? So we are non-different from the Lord, and wherever the Lord is, the place is definitely very sanctified. Yes? It's more than that, we can see here. Sages free from false pride live on this earth by frequenting sacred pilgrimage sites and those places where the Supreme Lord displays his pastime. Because such devotees keep the lotus feet within their heart, the water that washes their feet destroys all sin. Anyone who even once turns his mind towards you, the ever blissful soul of all existence, no longer dedicates himself to serving family life at home, which simply robs a man of his good qualities. So that. Simply by remembering you, our houses become instantly sanctified. And what to speak of speaking, seeing you, touching you, washing your holy feet, and offering you a seat in our home. See how powerful what is? Huh? How powerful it is? The person who has not at any time received the dāsa of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. So you see how association is so important. In fact, if the Lord wants to give someone devotional service, or he wants to help him, the first thing he does is take away all his wealth. You understand? He takes away. Why? Why he takes away? So that he will come to his consciousness, and when his friends and relatives forsake him, he becomes pretty much what we say poverty stricken, then he will approach the devotees. See, so when he approaches devotees, then he gets all good blessings. You follow? So this is very, very important, because until and unless a person gets disgusted with his material energy, nature, he will not turn to Krishna. It's not, he will not. Because his material life is very glamorous. You understand? I think there's one verse. In fact, Kunti Devi is also saying the same point. And see here, she's saying, my Lord, your Lordship can be easily be approached by only by those who are materially exhausted. One is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily feature cannot approach you with sincere feeling. See this point? So you cannot try to go to Krishna and try to at the same time enjoy material life. It doesn't go together. You follow? So only those people who are sick and tired of this Maya, and then they can go to Krishna. You follow? So material life and spiritual life, you cannot mix them up, like oil and water. So our duty here is to somehow or other associate with devotees, because when we associate with devotees, then this renunciation spirit will awaken in our hearts. See, in fact, Krishna also said the same point. My dear Uddhava, I am personally the ultimate shelter and way of life for sanely liberated person. And thus, if one does not engage in my loving devotional service, which is made possible by associating with my devotees, then for all practical purpose, one possesses no effective means for escaping from material existence. See that? You cannot come out of Maya if you just want to stay at home, do your thing, once in a while come to the temple. Coming to the temple means not just coming here, seeing the deity and taking prasada. It actually is to associate with the devotees. Understand? Associating with devotees means submissive inquiry, right? Service and surrender. If you don't surrender, the devotee will not be inclined to teach you anything. Yes? That's why the spiritual master is, you have to go to the spiritual master. If you want to have spiritual enlightenment, you must have spiritual master. If you don't want to have spiritual master, you cannot have Krishna. That's not possible. You understand? It doesn't work. So you must associate with the pure devotees of the Lord. Then awakening will come in the heart. If you don't associate with the pure devotees, then it's difficult to make progress spiritually. Because in this time, Kali Yuga, where Prabhupada has come and make things very easy for us. Understand? We can also associate with him by reading his books, which will prompt you to come and seek association with devotees in the temple. Yes? So all these things are all correlated. That's why Prabhupada set up so many temples all over the world. Yes? What for? For association. Otherwise, Maya is very, very strong and anyway can capture us. Alright? So therefore, we must understand spiritual life means devotees, pure devotees, taking shelter of them. In this way, we will nullify our sinful reaction and prepare to go home back to Krishna. Any questions or comments?
You say Lord Shiva is our Vaishnava, Kamala's Vaishnava. Why? Because sometimes devotees are not found.
Because the people who are worshipping Lord Shiva, they think that Lord Shiva is a demigod. When you worship him as a demigod, then he acts like a demigod. You follow? But if you worship him as a devotee, then he also reciprocates as a devotee. You follow? This is why they are worshipping, their worshippers are called Satisfies. Because they are devotees of Lord Shiva. In fact, they all think that Lord Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even higher than Krishna. This is not a fact. But the devotees understand Lord Shiva's position as a great servant of Krishna. That's why it's called Vaishnavam Yata Sambhu. You follow? In fact, Lord Shiva is also a leader of one of the Sampradaya. He never, when he was questioned by Devi after the Mohini episode, she asked him, you remember Devi, you asked me, who are you meditating on? Lord Shiva said, now you know this Mohini avatar, who is he? Is my Lord. Huh? And there is nobody more, what you say, powerful than me. This is my Lord that I am meditating all the time. Are you following? Alright. If you satisfy Krishna, you satisfy everybody. You know? Just like here in this verse, Yata Moolam Nisichena. Which word is that? Just like pouring water to the root of the tree, to 190. 4:31:14. So you see here in this verse, as pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and the limbs of the body, simply by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfy the demigod who are parts of that Supreme Personality. So just by praising Krishna, everything is satisfied. Yes? I'm stopping.